All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about something that is so fundamentally human. We're going to explore the psychology of emotional suppression. Basically, why so many of us spend so much energy hiding how we really feel.
So let me just start by asking you something. And be honest with yourself. In the last week, or even just the last few days, how many times has someone asked you, "Hey, how are you?" And you just automatically, without even thinking, replied with, "I'm fine, thanks." Even when on the inside you were, well, anything but fine. Maybe you were stressed or anxious. Maybe you were just sad. But that mask, it just goes up instantly, doesn't it?
You know, it's such a common reflex for so many of us, and a big part of that is our culture. It often puts this stiff upper lip idea on a pedestal. We learn, often from a really young age, that being, well, too emotional is seen as messy, or maybe unprofessional, or that you're just being a burden on the people you care about. So to really get to the bottom of this, we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what I'm calling the "I'm fine" epidemic. Then we're going to get into the science of what this actually does to our brains and bodies. After that, we'll hear some real, relatable stories before we pivot to the solutions, a real roadmap to authenticity. And we'll wrap it all up by completely redefining what strength really looks like. Okay, so let's jump into our first section, the "I'm fine" epidemic. It's time to really unpack this universal lie that we tell, not just to other people, but to ourselves too. This quote right here, it gets to the heart of the problem. There's this fundamental truth that you just can't selectively numb your emotions. You can't decide to only turn down the volume on sadness or anxiety. The very same tools you use to push down those dark feelings, well, they also end up dimming your ability to feel true, genuine joy and connection. It's an incredibly high price to pay. So just so we're all working with the same vocabulary here, the official term for what we're talking about is emotional suppression. And the most important word in that definition is conscious. This isn't something that just happens to you. It's an active, deliberate choice we make moment by moment to hide how we feel. And this is a really important distinction to make. Repression, that's an unconscious process. It's when a feeling is buried so deep you genuinely don't know it's there. You'd say, "What feeling?" But suppression, that's a conscious choice. That's you in a meeting feeling a surge of anger and consciously thinking, "Nope, I will not feel this right now." It's an active, in-the-moment effort to hide it.
And this, of course, leads to the billion-dollar question. If it's so costly and it takes so much work, why do we do it? Why is this our go-to strategy so often?
Well, when you boil it all down, the answer is pretty simple. It's fear. We're driven by a fear of social rejection, a fear of being judged by our peers. We're afraid of appearing weak in a world that tells us to be strong. And so many of us carry this deep fear of being a burden to the people we love. But here is the absolute critical thing to understand. Emotions aren't just thoughts. They are physiological events. They are literal bursts of chemical and electrical energy in your body. And that energy, it has to go somewhere. It doesn't just poof, vanish into thin air just because you decided you don't want to feel it. This is honestly the best analogy I've ever heard for it. Trying to suppress a powerful emotion is exactly like trying to hold a big inflatable beach ball underwater in a swimming pool. You can do it, right? But it takes a massive, constant amount of effort and pressure. And the very second you get tired or distracted, that ball is going to shoot up to the surface with incredible force. And it usually happens at the worst possible time, as a sudden outburst or a breakdown when you least expect it. Okay, so now let's go a little deeper. Let's look at the hard science of this self-sabotage. What is actually physically happening inside your brain and your body when you're holding that beach ball under the water? What's going on inside your head is pretty dramatic. It's essentially a high-stakes neurological battle. It's a constant tug of war between the ancient emotional parts of your brain and the more modern logical parts. So here are the two main players in this fight. You've got your amygdala, which is like the brain's primitive alarm bell. It senses a threat, whether it's a real danger or just an emotional one, and it screams, "React." But then, at the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the logical CEO of your brain, steps in and orders, "Suppress, not now, we can't show that." And this constant internal battle, it is exhausting. It's what scientists mean when they say it's cognitively expensive. It burns through your brain's available energy, your glucose, your willpower, your self-control. It's exactly why after a long day of putting on a happy face at work, you might get home and just snap at your family over something tiny. You literally have no self-regulation fuel left in the tank. But this isn't just about feeling mentally tired or irritable. The research is incredibly clear on this now. The cost of chronic emotional suppression is profoundly physical. It takes a real, measurable toll on your body.
So here's what's happening. Your body, it doesn't know the difference between the stress of hiding your anger and the stress of running from a tiger. The physical response is identical. Your sympathetic nervous system kicks into overdrive. Your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure rises, and your body gets flooded with stress hormones like cortisol. And when this becomes your default state, day after day, it weakens your immune system over time.
And it all comes down to this powerful idea. You might get really good at hiding your sadness from your colleagues or your anger from your partner, but you cannot hide it from your own cells. Your body, it always knows the truth. It is always keeping score.
Okay, let's bring all this science down to earth for a minute. Let's look at how this actually plays out in real life, with some stories about hidden pain that might sound, well, a little familiar.
So first, let's meet Sarah. We'll call her the workplace stoic. Her boss just keeps piling on more and more work with totally unrealistic deadlines. Inside, she is panicking. She's thinking, I'm drowning, this is impossible. But what comes out of her mouth? A smile and a cheerful, absolutely, no problem. Why? Because she is terrified of looking incompetent or like she can't handle it.
And the consequences are, well, exactly what the science would predict. Because she's drowning, her actual work quality starts to suffer. But where does all that unexpressed stress and anxiety go? It turns inward. It starts to manifest physically. She develops these debilitating tension headaches and finds herself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., unable to sleep. Her body is screaming the words that her mouth refuses to say.
And then there's Michael. Michael is the peacekeeper partner. Anytime his partner says something that hurts his feelings, his immediate reflex is to just swallow it. He tells himself it's not a big deal because what he fears most in the world is conflict. To him, an argument feels way more dangerous than just staying silent.
But of course, that hurt doesn't just evaporate. It sits there, and it starts to curdle into resentment. Michael starts making little passive-aggressive comments. He starts to withdraw emotionally. And slowly but surely, the very connection he was trying so hard to protect by avoiding conflict is being poisoned by the silence.
Okay, so that's the problem. And it can feel pretty heavy. But the really good news is that this is not a life sentence. We can change this pattern. So let's shift gears and look at the solution. Let's talk about the roadmap to authenticity. This is a practical, scientific approach to teaching our nervous systems that it is actually safe to feel again.
Now, this slide lays out a 4-step roadmap that's backed by a lot of research. And don't worry about the fancy terms. We can simplify it. It really just comes down to Step 1, name it. Step 2, feel it in your body. Step 3, share it, just a little bit. And Step 4, reframe it. Let's break down what each of those actually looks like in practice.
So Step 1, which researchers call affect labeling, is a fascinating brain hack. Studies out of UCLA found that the simple act of putting a specific word to what you're feeling, literally just saying to yourself, okay, I am feeling anxious right now, it actually calms down the activity in your amygdala, that alarm center of the brain. You really do have to name it to tame it. And the key is to be specific. Instead of just I feel bad, try to get more granular. I feel disappointed, or I feel resentful. Okay, now for Step 3, sharing it. This does not mean you have to suddenly pour your heart out to everyone you meet. The technique here is called titration, which just means starting with tiny doses. Find one person in your life who you feel relatively safe with. And the next time they ask how you are, instead of saying I'm fine, just try sharing 10% more of the truth. Maybe it's just, it's been a really stressful day. That's it. Every time you do that and the world doesn't end, you are giving your brain new evidence that it's safe to be real.
And this brings us to the final, and I think the most powerful piece of this puzzle. This is where we change the entire belief system that got us here in the first place. This is about redefining strength and learning to see vulnerability not as weakness, but as courage.
We have to consciously challenge this old belief that so many of us were raised with, the idea that emotion is weakness and hiding it is strong. The truth, the real truth, is that denial is what's weak. Hiding is the easy way out. True strength is having the courage to face reality, to look it in the eye and say, I am struggling right now. That is real power.
The researcher Brené Brown absolutely nailed it with this. She said, vulnerability is our most accurate measurement of courage. For so long, we've thought of vulnerability as a flaw to be hidden, but it's the exact opposite. It is the clearest sign of courage a person can show. It's that willingness to show up and be seen, even when you have no control over the outcome.
I want you to think about that emotional armor that you wear every day. Chances are it's served a very real purpose at some point in your life. It probably kept you safe when you needed it most. But I want you to consider the possibility that today, in your life right now, that same armor is no longer protecting you. It's actually trapping you. It's preventing you from growing, from connecting, from being truly seen.
Because when it comes right down to it, living a life of suppression is just lonely. It is a profoundly lonely way to exist. Think about it. You can be in a room full of people who love you, but if they only know the representative, the I'm fine version of you, they don't actually know you. And that's the loneliest feeling in the world.
So, the path forward, the path to real health, to deep and meaningful connections, to genuine happiness. It isn't about building a stronger, thicker suit of armor. It requires the immense bravery to begin slowly and carefully, to take the mask off.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. You don't have to fix this all at once, but what's just one small truth you could share with one safe person today, instead of giving that automatic "I'm fine" response? Because that one tiny act of courage, well, that could be the beginning of a whole new way of living.